night.
Yes, Europe is working at night because they have resources that they get from our continent. Do we leave them to continue to use our resources to develop while we can't use our own resources to develop the continent? You know, that legacy, that colonial approach, even when you look right now, you're talking about South Africa being in the dark, but you see number of trucks going to a port in KwaZulu-Natal, Richards Bay, a long queue of trucks, coal going to Europe and Asia.
This is the thing, you know, that is the tragedy of Africa. First, you need to understand that African people must eat and live. They must have, for example, energy, that is fuel and so on. And therefore, what is happening is happening. In other words, Africa is exporting raw materials unprocessed and then importing finished products. I've been saying that we need to put an end to this, that Africa needs to do value addition to the raw materials that it has in abundance. There is no, again, saying that Africa is the richest continent on the planet Earth. But the paradox is that the richest continent is also the poorest in terms of living conditions of our people. So we say that in order to deal with this legacy of colonialism, we must change this by doing value addition to these raw materials. And to do that value addition, you must have energy. You see, energy is the nerve of an economy. So if you have energy, then we can put industries which will do the processing of the raw materials that we produce or that we have on the continent. You see, if you take minerals, for example, a number of these companies have been mining minerals on the continent for years, but there's not much left for it. You only have big holes left. Most of these minerals are going to Europe to actually spur the European industries. So we said, instead of Africa exporting iron ore, or Africa should be actually exporting steel. Copper ore, it should be exporting copper. Bauxite should be exporting aluminium, see, during processing of these raw materials. Coffee, you see, we buy Kenyan coffee here in South Africa, but imported from Europe, you see, and into South Africa, and processed here. Kenya is only exporting raw coffee, or Kenyan tea, for example. We talk of cocoa, the continent. You have chocolate, but manufactured from Europe, and you buy them in South Africa. You buy them in Kenya and so on. Textiles. You see, you get jeans, you get all these things from outside, but made of cotton manufactured on our continent. So we must address this issue of value addition seriously, in my view. And if we do that first, you will create employment to our people. Then you will also create wealth. We'll get more out of our exports, you see. So it is an issue which is no longer debatable. It's just how do we do it. That's why addressing the issue of energy is very primary.